The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning here at 5 a.m. on this Thursday. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher. We're creeping toward the weekend.
Breaking news of a mass shooting in Thailand where dozens of people were killed in a shooting at a child care center. Police say a gunman entered the facility around lunchtime and shot 4 or 5 officials at the daycare center. And the gunman, who was also wielding a knife, then forced his way into a locked room where children were sleeping. The suspect killed 36 people before turning his weapon on himself. At least 22 of those victims were children. No further information has been released.
And new this morning, a fire severely damaged a home in southwest Bakersfield. Take a look at this. Flames in this video sent to us by Brandon Barraza. This is a home on Janelli Way. It's right across the street from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints on Real Road. Records on the Zillow show that the 4-bedroom, 2-bath home was built in 1971, and it was sold last September.
This morning, a tragic end to a massive search for a kidnapped family from Merced. Authorities saying they found the family dead last night. Deputies have been desperately searching for the family since Monday, but last night, the bodies of 2 parents, their 8-month-old baby, and an uncle were found. They were discovered by a farm worker in a rural orchard outside Merced.
I'm sorry to deliver the news. We were praying for obviously a better ending, and this is not it. But we now know what the circumstances are, and we know now how to focus our investigation, and that's where we're going to take it.
Authorities say the family was last seen on surveillance video when they were kidnapped by a man armed with a gun and then forced into a truck. Deputies say they've taken a man into custody who they consider a person of interest in this case.
.504 now in your court watch. Today, the 2 men accused of shooting and killing 5-year-old Kason Guyton will face a judge ahead of their scheduled trial. Jonathan Knight and Jeremy King were arrested in 2017 for allegedly killing the young boy. Guyton was in the backseat of his mom's boyfriend's car on the way from the movies when he was shot. His 7-year-old brother was also shot and survived. Police believe the boyfriend, a suspected gang member, was the target. Knight and King are appearing in court today ahead of their trial set for later this month.
Also today, the woman who crashed her car into a family home in southwest Bakersfield will be in court. You may remember this scene from 3 weeks ago. Court records show 26-year-old Madison Williams was under the influence when she crashed her car into this home on Old River Road and Taft Highway. The family inside was seriously hurt, including a toddler. Williams is charged with 3 felonies. She'll be arraigned in court later today.
The Bakersfield Police Department's asking for the community's help finding a missing teen. 15-year-old Brandon Thomas Russell was last seen yesterday in the 2900 block of Maywood Drive. Police say he's considered at risk because he has no prior history of running away. If you have information on the whereabouts of Brandon Thomas Russell, you're urged to call BPD at 327-7111. For more than a year, 17 News has been sounding the alarm about fentanyl in our community. And our local leaders are expressing concerns about the illicit drug and its deadly impact. Law enforcement and school officials discuss the issue and what it looks like in Kern County. Police are warning about rainbow fentanyl, a new form of the deadly drug specifically targeted at kids.
Disguising it to look like Skittles, Sweet Tarts, candy, and things of that nature. They're even packaging in candy wrappers. Make sure that you're paying really close attention to what your kids have in their buckets or their little things they're collecting candy in.
We asked county school officials if children were allowed to bring Narcan, the overdose reversal nasal spray, to campus. Officials say that's up to individual schools. As of now, North High is the only school allowing kids to carry Narcan on campus. Meantime, fentanyl has taken a center role in Congressman Kevin McCarthy's political messaging this summer as he travels the country campaigning and appearing on talk shows, pitching voters on why the GOP should control the House. If Republicans do have a majority in the House next year, any legislation to address the fentanyl crisis would have to pass the Senate and ultimately go through President Joe Biden, a Democrat. We asked McCarthy what concrete legislation on the issue he could commit to getting through both chambers of Congress and signed by the president.
If we are fortunate to take the majority, the first thing we'll do is secure our border. No matter who you spoke to, no matter what law enforcement agency it was, from the CHP to the DEA to the Homeland to the county sheriff to the city police, it's coming across our southern border. It's starting in China.
McCarthy did not offer specifics on any legislation to secure the border. He did mention legislation to make fentanyl a Schedule I drug, which designates the substances as having no accepted medical use and enhancing the overtime hours for law enforcement working on drug cases. It's unclear if any of this could pass a potentially Democrat majority Senate and receive the president's signature.
From our 17 follow-up file, the Bakersfield City Council has approved an ambitious plan to provide greater access to low-cost broadband internet service within the city limits. The council approved an agreement with Sci-Fi Networks to build a fiber optic network using microtechnology at no cost to the city. The open access network will be built with the option to connect all city facilities, homes, and businesses within Bakersfield. It is an effort to reach underserved communities, and under the 30-year agreement, Sci-Fi Networks will invest $300 million. A similar proposal has also been presented to the County of Kern. Well, happening this morning, Meadows Field will welcome bigger planes to our local airport. American Airlines is upsizing their morning and midday flights from a CRJ 900 to their Airbus 319. The company says the larger aircraft will increase comfort, including first-class seating with added amenities like Wi-Fi and AC. Each flight between Bakersfield and Dallas-Fort Worth will provide an additional 50 seats for passengers, and that increases Meadows Field's departing seating by 3,000 per month. Officials say this upgraded service will bolster local job opportunities at one of the largest companies in the world.
Meantime, down at LAX, a renovated Delta terminal opens today. The $2 billion project features 9 new gates, more seating areas, and upgraded lobbies. The facility is the second phase of a joint project between LAX and Delta that first started in April. Delta says the new terminal came 18 months ahead of schedule. The airline's expected to complete the Delta Skyway project by next year. The last phase will combine the T1 and T2 terminals together, which will eliminate the need to take a bus between terminals.
As high as they are, gas prices could go even higher. 17's Michaela Armstrong has more on the big changes coming to the oil industry and how it could be affecting your wallet the next time you head to the pump.
Increases at the pump could be looming after OPEC announced Wednesday it will cut oil production by 2 million barrels a day. It's the biggest cut in production since the start of the pandemic. The cut threatens to push gasoline prices higher just weeks before U.S. midterm elections. But Associate Professor of Economics Dr. Richard Gerhardt says that isn't all.
Oil prices are going to increase, which means gas and other fuel prices are going to increase, which means food prices are going to increase. We're just going to see continued inflationary pressures.
Researchers expect global oil prices to rise from about $93 to $100 per barrel, with U.S. benchmark prices rising from $88 to $92. Gerhardt says California residents could see it the worst.
I would expect gas prices to remain in the $6 range with all of the moving parts and pieces, which is not welcome news in an environment where prices for everything have been increasing.
But Gerhardt says local oil producers are going to benefit from this change.
Local producers might actually expand oil production, take advantage, and fill this gap.
Yet for residents, Gerhardt says the result will be felt by those at gas pumps for coming weeks.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.